Welcome to Magic on Tap, the Magic the Gathering and Beer Review podcast. I'm Jack.
And I'm Xavier.
And today we are still talking about some All-Be-One. We're going to be talking about some uncommons and commons that we liked or think will have a place in the 99.
Oh yeah, super excited. And our beer theme today is, at least for me, I'm doing quote-unquote common beer styles. So beers that everyone's got to have in their portfolio. Stuff that's really easy to find anywhere. So we're going to be doing like lagers, blondes. I got a lager, a blonde, a pilsner, and a kolsch. And I plan on drinking all of them. So we'll see how this episode goes for me.
Yeah, it'll go great, I'm sure. Yeah, I have two common ones and an uncommon one because I have a beer de champagne. So...
Awesome.
So that still counts, right?
Yeah, I like it. The flavor's there.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and move into the barkeep upkeep. What you pouring?
What am I pouring? The first thing I got today is Old North Premium Lager from Highwire Brewing. They have a location in Asheville. That's their original location, Asheville, North Carolina. They also have a second. I mean, they're all over the place. They are a chain, but they have one in Asheville. They have one in Charlotte as well. So I'm going to bust that open. What you got?
Fuck yeah. I have a Bamamosa, which my girlfriend was kind enough to bring me back some beers for the pod. From her trip to Alabama. And so this one is a beer de champagne with orange in it, essentially. It's a Bamamosa. It's 7%, so I think it's a good starter.
Oh, yeah. When you're cracking that open, I'm just going to tell you my first sips right off the bat. Yeah, it tastes like a fucking premium lager. It's fantastic. I love Old North. Always been a big fan. As someone who has repeatedly almost purchased a $250 neon Old North light, very excited to be covering it on the podcast. Also, very disappointed that Highwire is no longer going to be making Old North. They are stopping production on it. Yep, they're going to make a different premium lager, but they are essentially like, I'm sure the recipe will be similar, but they are going away from that branding.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, right? Kind of a bummer. How's your first one tasting?
Tastes like a mimosa.
Actually, is it malty? Do you get like any malt? Well, I guess it's a beer, so that's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's a beer de champagne, so they tend to be a lot drier. And just because it is kind of uncommon, for our listener, Jared, a beer de champagne is still a beer, but the method of brewing gives it a lot more of dry flavor, very light and crispy. So you don't typically get a ton of maltiness in it. And just plain beer de champagne, you could probably still get some. But with stuff like this, with flavors added, it pretty much just tastes like a mimosa. I'm not mad about it.
They usually use champagne yeast too, don't they? Or am I just making that shit up?
I don't know. I don't have enough expertise to answer that confidently.
I don't know if a beer de champagne uses champagne yeast, but I know there are beers made with champagne yeast, and it's always interesting because you get the snappiness and like the carb levels taste different, and it does have that dryness that you're talking about. So I would love to try that because I've only ever had mimosa seltzers before, and they kind of suck.
I absolutely believe that. I mean, seltzer kind of sucks already, so... Or maybe it's just usually not done very well.
It's just not beer, so...
Yeah, beer's good.
We are not a StarCraft and seltzer review podcast.
No, we're not StarCraft and seltzer. Shall we move on to the untapped step?
Oh, yeah. What you got first, bud?
Well, first, untapped, which you probably know, but just in case, Aaron, if you don't know, Untapped is a platform where you can go on, rate beers that you've had, find other beers that may be close by to you, and it's an app with a pretty cool format, but everyone else is an idiot but us. We're the only people who know how to use it correctly. So in the Untapped step, we'll read off some shitty or stupid Untapped reviews.
Yeah, you got first.
All right, I'll go first. And this one is by our one listener, Erin, Erin Gardner. I'm calling you out. She gave it 2 stars out of 5 and said, hangover. That's all. I don't know if that means... I guess that means it gave her a hangover, but I don't think just drinking this is going to give you a hangover. I'm pretty sure you have to put a lot more things into your body for that to happen.
Yeah, I know sometimes people say that whenever they have something sweet, like, oh, this is a hangover waiting to happen, but I can't imagine that's very sweet.
It's not. It's kind of like sour, kind of tart. Not super sweet, for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that one. Next one is from Janice Shirley Vranikar, which sounds like a magic card.
It does. Oh my god, it super does.
But she said, wow, a surprising wine/beer. Gave it 4.5 out of 5. Which, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little surprising. It is still a beer, although I would understand why someone would be tempted to call it a wine.
Right. If you don't know anything about it and you read the can, you're like, oh, it's like a weird wine beer, because it says beer to champagne. So people are like, oh, it's champagne beer.
Yeah, or brut.
Yes, but it's not High Life. It's not the champagne of beers.
Yeah. And then my last one is from Greg Strinkowski, which, fun fact, if there's a W in a name, it's probably pronounced with a V and not a W. It's not Strinkowski. Anyway, he said, different a beer mimosa. Good in a flight, wouldn't get a large, 3 out of 5. The main reason I picked this out is because he said different a beer mimosa. That's all one sentence. So I guess he's saying it's different from anything that he has gotten before. Also, a large. I'm assuming that means a pint. I don't really know. Maybe he's.
Can I have a venti?
Yeah. Can I get a? Oh my god! I'm gonna say that the next time I want to get a mug. Yeah. Can I get a venti Sprats? Oh wow! I actually have one more from Greg Lusco, who said he gave it 4 out of 5 and said, has a lovely blood orange nose, super light body. This goes down wonderfully. Has a quick bite before the citrus takes over. It is perfect for a brunch mimosa substitute. Dries at the end, but it is so refreshing. Pair with an omelet and lox. I am pretty sure that this guy is not like an official beer reviewer, but he certainly wants to be.
Yeah, maybe he's a certified Cicerone. Cicerone!
Cicerone! It's possible. But yeah, I support you, Greg, in whatever endeavors that you want to go on.
I don't support you.
That's a longer review than I would normally want to read, so maybe cut that down a little bit. And that's all I got for Bam Mimosa.
Cool. So real quick before I get to my Old North reviews, I'm gonna check in another beer because I already drank that 16-ounce Old North.
Wait, did you?
Yeah. So when I drink light beer and I know I don't have to go anywhere, like my inner Wisconsin kicks in. It's really bad. I have 4 here. I might have to go grab more in the middle of this episode. It's gonna be I can feel it in my bones. You know when you have like a beer and you're like, oh shit, it's happening. I'm just going to drink everything.
Yeah. Well,
that
the
Old
only
North
reason that I still have beer left is because I have been talking.
That Old North just like, man, cruised right down the back of my gullet.
Right down the gullet.
Right. Before I get to my Old North ones, I'm just going to double up on the Untapped reviews for 2 beers. So I'm going to be checking in Blonde from Cahaba Brewing Company. Jesus. That's also why I've been belching like a maniac. This one I got from Jack, who got it from his lady. It's also from Alabama, so Cahaba Brewing in Bama. It's a blonde. It tastes real good. Super nice and light. It tastes real good.
Real good.
So we're going to check in. Oh, Jesus. We're going to check in our Old North reviews first on Untappd. So first review is Avery F. They gave it 3.25 stars. They said fine. That's the description. Just fine.
Fine.
And worth mentioning because it is just fine. Yeah, it's a lager. I'm okay with these reviews. This is the type of review that you're going to see a lot of for light beer. Fine or or meh or I guess it's okay. Which is like, I don't know what the fuck you were expecting, dude. You drink a premium lager. Does it taste like that? Then okay, relax. They also checked in at the Carolina Beer Temple in Matthews, North Carolina, and when I heard that place is pretty cool. Next, we got Nate B checking this in at 115 Craft. He says, add a mug option at Untappd. 2 out of 5 stars. Because he had to check it in on draft, and he wanted to show off that he had it as a mug and not a fucking pint. I'm not a little pussy. Low. Yeah. Right. Pussy. So, going into the blonde, Carson B checks it in from no location, from the ether, gave it 2 out of 5 stars and said, which is mean. If a beer's okay, if it's middle of the road, if it's just neutral, please at least give it 3 stars, because that is like directly, or like 2.5. Like, just fucking go in the middle. Just give it 3 stars. It's not bad. It's not hurting your fucking feelings, is it? Relax. It's a blonde. It tastes good. It smells fine. It's great. And then last one is Addison H. Checked in from the ABC store, which is confusing because in North Carolina, the ABC store is typically a liquor store. For if anyone outside of North Carolina or anyone outside of the people that we know in real life is listening to this. So shout out to our one listener outside of the Carolinas, Avery. The way you have to get liquor in the Carolinas is a hellscape. I used to roll up into Walgreens or like a BP and walk out. You could walk out with like 2 handles of Jameson. And here, I have to go to government-sanctioned liquor stores where they don't sell beer or mixers. So if you want beer and liquor, that's a 2-trip visit there, bud. And I'm not trying to do that. So, anyway, that's my weird tangent on the liquor store situation out here. It's some weird Bible Belt bullshit. Bible Belt bullshit.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a band name. Addison H. checking at the ABC store. She says, garlic aioli? Oh, she doesn't
Areola.
say. She does say areola. She says garlic areola sauce. You picked the same one?
Yes, with 6 question marks.
Yeah, and gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Garlic areola sauce. I really wonder what that tastes like.
Garlic areola sauce?
Ah, is that?
And then posted a picture of their fries.
Garlic areola sauce sounds like spoiled milk to me. It's just a fancy way of saying it. Yep, and Shannon L toasted it, and nobody corrected. So, that's it. That's all I got. Bing, bang, boom. We did it.
All right. Fantastic. Yeah, I think you may have mentioned earlier, I also have that beer. And yeah, I did pick that.
Hey, we did it. Crossover episode. Whoa, so wacky.
Well, since we're on it and I'm going to be drinking it later, I'll just say my other one, which is from Kevin E., where he gave it 4 out of 5 and just said, war damn baseball. Damn with 2 M's. Yep. All right.
Good job. Wow, you did it.
Wow, proud of you. So, yes, let's move on to our first main.
Talking about commons and uncommons today from LB1. Super exciting. As a set, not super blown away from the common selection, but it's like commons are always something that you just accrue over time, and then you go back and look, and you're like, wow, this card's pretty good. I would never say that there's this particular set that has a lot of outstanding commons, but that's just not how it works.
Unless it's like a master set or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that's fair. Unless, Masters, or I will say Baldur's Gate had a pretty exceptional list of commons. When Nature's Lore is worth like $2 and that was printed as a common in Baldur's Gate, that's pretty fucking good. Blazing Crescendo in All Be One is kind of a standout for me as far as commons go. That is a colorless and a mountain. It says target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. It's an instant. And you also exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. So for 2, it's a pump up and it's card draw essentially.
That seems really good.
It seems pretty fucking good. I didn't really notice this until we started making our Pauper EDH decks, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think I slept on this. It's just a card that I like every other Magic player, when you open a pack, you kind of just fucking pretend like you look at the commons. Yeah, you pretend to look at the commons to be... It's like when you get a card with money in it, and you're like, oh, wow, and you just have to act like $100 didn't fall out of it when you opened it. You're like, oh, those are nice words.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow, this is so nice. And you're just like, give me the money, give me the money. So it's cool to circle back and be looking specifically for commons with that Pauper mindset, and then stumbling on something like this. So I think this is going to see a lot more playing than 99 in decks for me upcoming.
Yeah. And it's got some rad fucking art.
It does. It's, it's a person with pipe heads?
Pipes coming out of their skull and face and crondolium.
Right.
With flames coming out of them.
Somewhere the Phantom of the Opera has this posted up in his dungeon lair, because it looks like somebody is absolutely shredding on an organ.
This is like one of the people from Mad Max Fury Road that got really into body modification.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Also, very happy to see a Thrill Possibility reprint in this set, because that card can go in literally any deck that has red in it.
Yeah, that's a good card.
I guess I should read what it says. It is a colorless and a red for an instant. As an initial cost of this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Always good. Always fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, you got any commons or what?
Oh, I have many. My favorite common, I think, from the set is Vraska's Fall. It's a black and 2 for an instant, and it says each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and gets a poison counter. That's like double value. You
said that was a common?
That's a common, yeah.
That's a common? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a common. I don't think I've ever seen sacrifice planeswalker before.
Yeah, sacrifice a creature or planeswalker and get a poison counter. So when I played the pre-release for All Be One, I included this in my deck. I had a green-black, like, poison proliferate deck. Must have been black-blue then. And I had 3 copies of this in there, and I absolutely think these won games.
Yeah.
Especially in Limited, but, like, in general, I think that's really fucking good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I misheard you. I thought you said it was 1 colorless and a black. I was like, how is that a fucking common? Still, very good. 2 colorless and a black for something that could potentially destroy a indestructible creature, or get rid of an indestructible creature, or a planeswalker. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Obviously, later on down the line, it may be less useful when someone builds their board up. They'll just, like, sack a token or something. But in general, I think it's pretty fucking good for a common.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. Let's say you have this in you probably would never have this in a black and white deck. Well, unless you're running mites. But you could, for 7, you could Wrath of God, kill everything except for something indestructible, and then drop this for 3 and clear the board and give someone a
Yeah.
poison counter. And if you're playing black-white mites, which is definitely a thing you can do, that's something you want to do anyway. So
Yeah. So there are definitely uses for it, for sure. That may be going in into some future decks. So,
yeah,
what's your next one?
My next one for commons, I'm kind of relying on you for this. Oh, actually, Axiom Engraver is a colorless and a red for a 1/3. It's a Phyrexian wizard, so it's a creature. It enters with 2 oil counters on it. You tap, remove an oil counter from it, and you can discard a card and draw a card. So it's like I think it's a cheaper rummaging goblin. And there's that hindrance on that you can only do it 2 times if you don't have anything to proliferate oil counters. But if you're trying to stay within the standard of New Phyrexia, or fucking not New Phyrexia, goddamn. If you're trying to stay within the set of all be one, it's not the end of the world to have something with oil counters because you're probably going to proliferate it or whatever. Either way, pretty good. 2 for a 1/3 that you can discard and draw a card twice. If you don't do it ever again, that's fine. I think I would be fine with eating that. So, I love seeing stuff like that. The utility on it, something that actually makes me want to play with it.
I actually think that I know that you said you didn't think there were that many good commons in this set. I think there are a few really good ones. For example, my next pick, Zealot's Conviction, 1 white for an aura with flash in its enchant creature. It says enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Pretty good with flash. Oh, Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, the enchanted creature gets an additional +1/+0 and has first strike. What the fuck? That's a common. That seems really good to me.
Oh, that does actually seem really good.
Yeah, I could see that being on an instant, like until end of turn. But with it having flash and staying, and like obviously you would probably want to play this in a toxic/infect deck, but you can block your 3/3 flyer with my little 1/1 flyer, and they'll be like, oh, okay, it dies. Nope, just kidding, bitch. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, even if you don't, let's say you don't play it in a toxic or an infect deck, I mean, 1 for a 1/1 flash enchantment, if you're playing it in like a green-white enchantress deck, that's 1 for a 1/1 flash draw. You pay to pump up a creature and draw a card, essentially, because chances are you're going to have something that's going to let you draw a card when an enchantment enters the battlefield. So, seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think that one's actually pretty good. That's all I have to say on that. Do you have any other commons, or do you? I have one more. So
you're good. Go for it.
This one, if you are playing white at all in the standard with toxic right now, you have in your deck. It's Crawling Chorus for 1 white. You get a 1/1 Phyrexian Horror with toxic 1, and when it dies, you create a 1/1 Phyrexian Might with toxic 1. So it's like a twofer.
Yeah, I do like it. It's almost really good. And the only reason it's not like stupid good is because it's making a might that can't block.
Right, yeah. It would be ridiculously good if the mites could block.
Yeah, I mean, well, mites would be immediately broken. But if it just made like, I don't know, a 1/1 spirit that doesn't have flying for 1 when it died. If it had like 1 for a 1/1 that had Afterlife 1, that's so fucking good. But it's still really good. It can be in black and white aristocrats, no problem. Especially now that like there's so much toxic, in black, and there's always been a lot of infect. So you could almost, well, it'd be pretty hard, but you could do like black white toxic infect with like an aristocrat sub theme.
Yeah.
And I could see. That
might be interesting.
It shouldn't be that hard to do. Like, I could already tell you what the commander would be, and it'd be that thing that just generates black and white legendary that just generates all the mites. You just select a creature, and then it whenever it deals combat damage and said it doesn't deal combat damage, it makes that many mites. Rhea, Ivor, Bane of Bladehold. I had this deck for 2 days, and then I scrapped it because that's just how I am. I'm an insane person. Just for posterity's sake, it is 2 colorless, white and a black. So Orzhov, a legendary creature, Phyrexian Knight. It's a 3/4 with Battlecry. Battlecry is dope, and it's a slept-on mechanic. And I wish they printed more cards with Battlecry.
Yeah.
Battlecry says whenever it attacks, when this creature attacks, it gives all other attacking creatures +1/+0 until end of turn, I believe. It's not printed on the card because there's a fucking wall of text under this.
Yeah.
Battlecry, and then at the beginning of combat on your turn, the next time target creature would deal combat damage to one or more players this combat, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, create that many 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. The reason I took this deck apart is because it's really not that hard to make an absolute army of mites with it. And they can't block, but it doesn't matter. There's something very fun about playing black and white aggro, because I feel like that's not typically what black-white wants to do. They just want to drain your life. So I might rebuild it, but I could, like, that card that we were just talking about, I don't remember what it was called. The one, it's like fucking Parasite
Crawling
Parade
Chorus?
or yep, there it is.
Parasite Parade? Oh, that would be awesome. That's a great name.
Yeah, that's a great card name or a great band name.
There you go. Yeah, there you go, Mark Rosewater. That one's free. I know you're listening.
Yeah. That one in there immediately, because that's like all I want to do anyway, and that it's such a good card. And Orzhov cares about aristocrat shit anyway, so having a sub theme in a deck like that would be dope. I did actually, while we were on the subject, because you got me self-conscious about not having a lot of commons, I was taking a look.
All right.
No, I got one. Thirsting Roots is a...
That's what they called me in high school.
1 green, sorcery, choose one, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle, or you can proliferate for 1 green. Which seems pretty good. 1 green for look for a land and put it in your hand. I love shit like that. I mean, on the battlefield's always better, but late game, if you want to proliferate, if that's something you care about in green, like I might put this card in a Super Friends deck because it's pay 1 proliferate, which is dope, or it's pay 1 look for the 1 land that I can't fucking find because I'm playing Wooburg Super Friends.
Yeah, I feel like Wizards has been printing a lot more things that will work in the early game or in the late game, and I appreciate that.
I do too. I mean, it's monkeys on a keyboard. They're bound to print something that's going to work that way because they make so much shit all the time.
Oh my god, so much. Yeah, I would say the one drawback for this is it's a sorcery. If it were an instant, it would be like top tier.
It'd be infinitely playable. It'd be uncommon. It's like, I don't remember if Bushwhack is an instant or sorcery. I think it's an instant. Get ready, our one listener. You can listen to the beautiful sounds of me typing on the keyboard, which is not a sound you're unused to. It is a sorcery, which is...
It's a sorcery, yeah. And it's uncommon, so it's just worse.
Well, what, Thirsting Roots is worse?
No, Bushwhack. Well, yeah, I mean, it's
no, it's not.
Spell.
Thirsting Roots is worse because it's proliferate, and that's only in decks that care about counters.
Yeah.
But oops, it's in green, so chances are at some point you're gonna fucking care about counters in that deck.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got for commons.
All right, uncommons. I've been waiting to talk about this. Sheoldred's Edict. 1 black, 1 generic for an instant. Choose 1. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token.
2.
Or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker.
3. That sounds wild.
Fucking so good. It's an instant. You can make each opponent sacrifice a non-token creature or planeswalker. I mean, the token may come in sometimes, but honestly, most of the time you're going to be choosing a non-token creature or a planeswalker. Shit looks so fucking good. Yeah,
Seems very, very good. And it's an instant, which, like, Edict cards, sometimes not all of them are instant. Sometimes they're sorcery speed, and that always just feels really, really bad.
Yeah, if this were a sorcery, it would feel bad. But it being an instant is like, oh, chef's kiss. That's so good.
Yeah, because Chainer's Edict in Dominaria Remastered was a sorcery, which I didn't realize until I tried to stick it in a deck, and then I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. And the flavor text on Sheoldred's Edict, oh my god, too many words, too many syllables. Sheoldred's Edict. It just says, congratulations, I am entertained. Oh god.
I know.
Just say some mean shit on a mean card. That's so fucking, the flavor is wild.
Yeah, I love that card. Oh,
very good, very very
all
good.
Right. What do you have?
I'll let you talk about the one I was just going to talk about. But Atraxis Skitterfang, 3 colorless for a 2/2 artifact creature, Phyrexian insect. It enters with 3 oil counters on it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may remove an oil counter from Atraxis Skitterfang. When you do, target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, death touch, or lifelink until end of turn. Worst case scenario, you are paying 3 for a 2/2 that will give your creature flying until end of turn for 3 turns, which seems pretty good, or it'll give it vigilance. Like, this card, I just happened to throw it into a deck, and I realized that it kept paying off every time I drew it and played it. I just put it in there just to fill the 99. It was one of my sloppy decks that I make. I usually make about... It's unhealthy. I usually make about 4 a week that just nobody ever sees. I just make these like horrible sloppy decks. I wish I was calling it something else besides a sloppy deck as well, but I can't think of anything else.
Well, now you can't stop calling it that, so...
I know! Atraxis Skitterfang, very fun, and... Once again, if you have a proliferate deck, there's literally no reason not to put this in there.
Yeah, seems good.
It seems good. If you're running that black-white might deck, and you have to select a creature that has to deal combat damage to make that many mites, yeah, guess what? Giving it flying for a turn is pretty fucking good.
Oh, wow. Really? Crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like historically people in Commander don't care about flying, and they just forget that it's a mechanic that exists in the world. At least if you're playing it right.
Real quick, I am ready for another beer, so I'm going to fucking force you back into the untap step.
Oh, wait, I'm ready too, so you go
Or
first.
the upkeep, I mean.
I've been waiting. I didn't want to seem like a psychopath.
It's too late for that. So this is another one from Bama. It is T- Tangerine Kolsch from Yellowhammer Brewing because it's Tang. It's supposed to be Tang. That's why it's called T-. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh man, the depth to that joke is phenomenal. I didn't even put that together. Sorry, blown away by that. What was I talking about? Oh, my beer.
Mm-hmm.
So yours is blasting off into space. Mine is called Grounded Kolsch, and it's from Hazelwood Brewing Company out in Lexington, North Carolina. I just happened to stop in there this weekend. I was in the area. I just Googled breweries near my human body, and that pulled up, and it was awesome. Very cool location. One of the owners there is like a hobby carpenter, and he did like all the woodwork in the building, and it was super, super cool. So they have like a mezzanine, and instead of like they have a railing, and then the floor and the struts in between were like old barrel staves. It's super cool. Blown away by that place. Very good beer. So I'm excited for this one. I did not try this. I had 3 other beers. I purposely didn't try this Kolsch because I knew I was going to try it on the podcast. So
yeah,
how's your beer tasting, bud?
It's pretty good. Yeah. I don't think I get a lot of tangerine flavor, which may be partly attributed to I just had a very orangey beer. But I kind of appreciate that. I don't like too much when beers have a lot of the added flavor in. But the Kolsch flavor is very good. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. My Kolsch tastes really solid. That's it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a good beer.
All right. Do you have any Untappd reviews for that?
I do. Thank you for asking. My first one is Rob D, checking in from Untappd at Home. He gave it 3.25 stars and says, a decent little Kolsch. I applaud the attempt at something a bit more difficult to pull off than an IPA. And Rob D, I give you snaps for that because this is what I say all the time to everyone, all the time. Walk into a new brewery, try the lightest shit they got because you can't hide behind anything in a light beer. Yeah. If you don't like their light beer at all, if it tastes like shit, then I don't know. I mean, if you're stuck there, keep drinking. Yeah, but just in the back of your mind, know that they're just going to hide behind adjuncts with their other beers. So I do applaud their attempt. And I don't like how he said attempt because it makes it seem like they didn't do what they were supposed to, and this is a very good beer. But anyway.
So it's not an attempt.
No, they fucking did it. It's not an attempt. They didn't like, oops, I accidentally made a fucking Imperial Stout when I was trying to make this Kolsch. It is a Kolsch, whether you like it or not. And then I have one more review. It's just from WWJ, which sounds like an off-branded WWE. I don't know what the J stands for. Worldwide. Wait.
Jesus.
I don't know what WWE stands for. Anyway, WWJ says keep it local, no numerical rating, and I agree. Cheers to that.
Yes, very good.
What do you got?
Support your LBS, your local bottle shop.
Indeed.
You okay?
Yeah.
So my first review is from Desmond, who gave it 5 out of 5. You don't see that every day.
Holy shit.
Thank you, Desmond. I appreciate it. And he said a vibe. Hell yeah. Next one is from Steve W. Gave it 3.5 out of 5 and said, love the taste. Very good. I don't know why very is capitalized, but it is.
Because it's very good.
Yeah, very good. You didn't love it enough to give it more than 3.5 stars, Steve. So fucking get off your high horse, all right?
He didn't love it enough to fucking give it a more interesting adjective than very, so.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Bitch.
You're very bad, capital V, at Untappd.
Yeah. We're the only ones who know how to use it right anyway. And my last one is from Caleb, who I just sent you his profile picture. He's definitely wearing a wig, but it is quite the picture. Yeah,
and it's like it's supposed to be a mullet, but the front part almost looks like it's a comb over and a mullet at the same time. It's somebody that looks like someone that has been growing a mullet their whole life, but they're starting to bald and they're trying to cover it up.
Man, that's I just have to revel in that image for a second. So Caleb said he gave it 3 3/4, I guess. I can't read that. And he said, "Welp, good input, Caleb. That was helpful. Really great."
Did he spell it like whelp, like when you're like, "Well,
yep,
I don't know what to do," or did he spell it like a whelp, like a thing, like a noun?
No,
like he was calling the beer a whelp.
WELP. Well,
bummer.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Give some input. Come on.
Yeah, put yourself out there for ridicule by unheard of podcasts.
Yeah. Look, we have 22 subscribers on YouTube. We are not completely unheard of.
Yeah, we have 104. I have 141 followers on Instagram. It's more than just our one listener, Danny. Which I think we've said before. I'm going to say Boots.
Probably.
Our one listener, Boots.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So,
Cool.
Not completely unheard of. Our friends listen to us. All right, let's get back to it. First, we're still in the first main. Don't question why we had an upkeep and untapped in the middle of the first main phase. I wanted to talk about Voidwing Hybrid. It's a black and a blue for a 2/1 Phyrexian bat with flying, of course, toxic 1, and when you proliferate, return Voidwing Hybrid from your graveyard to your hand. Seems really fucking good in those colors.
Oh, yeah. It is really good, I heard. It's
Yeah,
really good
and-
if you're playing fucking Venter's Meat Puppet or whatever. Jim Dedson.
Jim Jetson. God. Yeah, so it's got toxic. You're gonna probably want to be proliferating in blue and black if you're playing in this set, and he just keeps coming back. Not much else to say about that.
Sounds good. I have tainted. Oh, I don't want to talk about that yet. We're gonna talk about Noxious Assault, which is a card that I saw and I immediately wanted to build a deck around just doing this to someone.
Oh no.
It is 3 colorless for a 3 colorless, 2 green pips for sorcery. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller gets a poison counter. I think if in the right matchup, this becomes an insta kill? Question mark?
Yeah,
It can.
for sure.
And it's one of those things where you look at it and you know in your heart of hearts it's not that good of a card. But it sounds cool. It sounds almost cool enough that I will just pull the trigger and put it in a deck.
Yeah,
I'm talking about...
That's like half of why we play Commander, because rule of cool.
Yeah, that's why we play casual Commander.
Yeah.
But, you throw this in a mono green deck and you're running shit like Prized Unicorn in it, and it says all creatures able to block Prized Unicorn do so, and it's 3 colorless, 1 green, 2/2 for a unicorn. You throw Noxious Assault in there, and let's say you're playing against a goblin deck.
Oh my god.
All their goblins
No.
have to block the unicorn, and then you also play Noxious Assault, so now they're just getting like a million poison counters. It appeals to the like Timmy, Johnny player in my heart,
Yeah.
where I just want to see something dumb like that happen. It's a card that if somebody
Great.
cares about going wide, this is the card that will punish them so hard that they will rethink their whole deck design. I would say another card that does that very effectively is Rakdos Charm. Have you ever been Rakdos Charmed when you're trying to go wide and you have all these tokens,
Oh.
and then for a black and a red instant speed, somebody is like, oh, you take 1 damage for every creature you control, you immediately fucking hate yourself.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why did I play goblins?
Yeah, that's a good card too. Not in the set though. Damn. It'd be great.
It isn't uncommon though.
It is.
Do you have another one?
I do. I have a few more. Cankerbloom is a
Hey,
green.
I had this as well.
Yeah, Cankerbloom is green and 1 for a 3/2 Phyrexian fungus. You know I love the funguis. And he has pay 1 to sacrifice him, choose 1, destroy target and art. Wow. I'm just gonna start that whole thing over. He has pay 1, sacrifice him, choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. And that's just great. All of those are great.
Yeah, at his base, 2 for a 3/2, not bad. And then also
Yeah.
he's got this sweet ass sack ability.
Yeah, he's got a sweet ass.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like,
you said
look at that.
something else after that.
I said sweet ass sack.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, look at that
Ass sack.
sack on that dude. Pretty good. I like Cankerbloom a lot. The alt art of the Cankerbloom goes really, really hard.
Yeah, it does go really hard. And that's definitely... I haven't put it in yet. I know I have a copy of this. But that's definitely going to go into my fungus deck.
Oh, yes. Fungi is another thing that keeps... I would say within the past...
So good.
It seems like they keep printing at least one or two a set. I have noticed. So your fungi deck is just going to get better over time.
Yeah, I haven't updated it in a while, but I'm definitely going to be adding some of the recent fungi in there because they're great and I love them. They're my boys.
Yeah. It's not legal in Pauper, but it is legal in Pauper Commander. We'll talk about those rules later.
Yes, it is. Oh, God. You have another uncommon you want to talk about?
Yes!
Yes!
We'll just get out of the way because I know you're going to talk about it anyway. Ossification. I heard this card's pretty good. We've talked about this already, I think, on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, maybe we did.
I think we talked about it when we did our first sweeping overview. Actually, I think you had it in the Power 9 for our first coverage of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe our first coverage of this was 2 episodes ago, and it was Beware the Dominussi. So, once again, colorless and a white for Enchantment Aura. Enchant basic land you control. When Ossification enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until Ossification leaves the battlefield.
Fuck yeah.
Wow. This card's pretty good. It's a better Oblivion Ring.
Yes, except you can't cheese it to leave the thing exiled like you can with Oblivion Ring.
No, but it goes on a basic land, and everyone's going to fucking forget about it if you play Paper Magic. I guarantee it. Unless you really, 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 really hurt somebody's feelings with what you exiled, somebody's going to forget that this shit is on something. And it's an enchantment, so it's extra hard to get rid of.
Yeah, it's so interesting that they made it enchant a basic land. I love that.
Yeah, the fact that it's not even just land, it's basic land.
Yeah, and the effect is just so good. And even if they're able to remove it and get their thing back, they have to spend mana on a spell to get rid of it, and then they're behind a turn. It gives you so much of an advantage already. Yeah.
It immediately feels bad. Anytime you have to cast something to destroy that, if I've been punching you with my Cankerbloom and now I gotta pay 1 and sack it to fucking destroy that, it's gonna feel bad to me.
Yeah. Oh God, I love that card.
Yeah, it's good. Makes me want to play Land Destruction.
Yeah. Oh, does it? Oh God.
That among other reasons. It's my mean streak. Yeah, we'll probably talk about that in another episode.
Yeah, let's talk about that in a future episode.
Stay tuned. Our listener,
Nico.
There you go, Nico. Hey, I know Nico. Cheers, Nico.
Hey, Nico, cousin. All right. So my next one is Jawbone Duelist. For a white and 1, you get a 1/1 with Double Strike and Toxic 1, which, by the way, Toxic will apply on each hit. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, even if you don't care about the poison counters, because it's just 1 for a 1/1 with Double Strike then, because Toxic, you're still doing combat damage. So if it dies, it doesn't even feel that bad.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what that's really good with? Zealot's Conviction.
Ooh.
Make him a 2/2 with Double Strike or a 3/2 with Double Strike because you're playing Toxic. Yeah, this guy's fucking good.
Yeah, and it's the weird fucking twofers white card. Not like twofer, you're doubling up like teeth.
Like teeth, yeah. Teethers.
Chompies.
Yeah.
Gnarly. What's your next one?
My last one. It's Mere Convert. And it's I'm I was gonna say it's the only one that I chose that's not a Phyrexian, but it is a Phyrexian because it's a convert, obviously. So it's 2 generic for a colorless Phyrexian mirror. It's a 2/1 with toxic 1, and you can tap it, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. And I just think it's got a lot of utility. There are various different things that you can do with it, and if nothing else, it's a 2 mana rock that taps for any color. Seems pretty good.
Seems pretty good. It's a 2 mana rock that can also chump block if you need it to.
Right. Yeah.
And
I've got nothing.
I was going to say, if you're playing Commander, eating that 2 life, not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely add up, but like in a Commander game, you're going to get more lands, more mana rocks, and eventually you won't need to worry about that. So I think the downside is not that big of a downside.
Nah. Also, it makes monocolor decks more playable. Stuff like this makes monocolor decks more playable, I think, because paying 2 to have something that, yeah, I have to eat 2 life, but you can tap for any color is having a 2 mana rock in black where ramp just fucking sucks, or eating that 2 life's not going to matter so much, or white where maybe you have a bunch of life gain shit in there because you just can't help but avoid life gain when you're playing a mono white deck. It's just gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Or red, where it's like, God, I hope I don't live long enough for this life loss to matter.
Right, yeah. Hopefully your face is on fire by the time.
Yeah. And if not, I'm gonna die. We all know it. Like, there's a point where you're playing mono red where you're like, all right, should I just scoop now? And they're like, well, I haven't even done anything to you. It's like, yeah, I've been out of gas for fucking 6 turns.
Right. At a certain point, you are just done, and you're like, by the time the paying 2 life for that mana matters, you're already dead.
Right. I feel like playing a mono red deck feels like being a younger sibling and having a benevolent older sibling where you just like go hard, you smack the shit out of them, and they just look at you like, are you sure that's what you wanted to do? And you're just like, no, I'm sorry. You either get them really good and they stay down, or you're just like, I fucked everything up.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
That's all I've got. I don't have any other commons or uncommons to talk about.
I got Uno Mas, and it's not exceptionally good, but it is funny. It wasn't that. That was
I was gonna say, is that the name of it?
That was just for you.
Thanks.
It is Tainted Observer. It is 1 colorless.
Oh God.
Green and a blue for a Phyrexian bird. I've seen a lot of birds. And, you know...
That's not a bird.
Yeah, well, who's to say? Maybe we've only seen what the government thinks are birds. And this is the first real bird. But,
it's true.
I used to work on a lobster boat, and we would pull...
We know.
Yeah, I know. Just for the people in the back. Just for everyone in my life who has to hear it one more time. These traps would go to the bottom of wherever we were in the ocean, and they would come up, and there'd be weird shit in a trap. This Phyrexian bird looks startlingly like something I would see in a trap and throw it in the water because my brain couldn't comprehend what I just looked at, and I didn't want to think about it.
You pull up an eldritch horror out of the fucking ocean.
And you're just like, I don't have time to, like... My student debt, the amount of money I owe on my student loan is too crazy to think about whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, so it's 3 for a 2/3 Phyrexian bird, quote unquote. And it's even, okay, I'm sorry. It just gets funny because this is like what the Phyrexians' interpretation of a bird is, and that just like makes it so good. Oh god. So 3 for a 2/3 bird monster with flying and toxic 1, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 if you do proliferate. It's not horrible. It's got some utility.
Yeah. I don't want to look at it.
No, I don't.
It's horrible to look at.
Yeah, and it has 3 heads and none of them are looking at you, and it makes me suspicious. Although, now that I think about it, I can't think of any Magic cards that are looking, like, down the barrel of the... I can't think of any Magic cards that are staring you in the fucking eye. You know what I mean?
Oh, Solemn Simulacrum.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
Just
like
off
OG
the top of my
or...
head. Yeah, the
Robot
original
Monster.
art. And,
the one that just looks like a guy? Because it is just a guy.
Because it is a guy,
made a robot man.
He's looking at you in that one. I'm sure there are a bunch.
How deep? How's he looking at me? What is
He's
he?
looking at you like with a little bit of disdain, like.
Oh, so he's not gonna like buy me a drink. He's
He's not gonna buy you a drink. He's gonna tell you that you're cut off.
Yeah, he's judging me because while we've been talking, I've already opened my 4th beer, and I was just gonna wait until you're ready for another one. To
I know that you've already opened your 4th beer. I am ready for another one.
Hey, bada bing! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa, hey, oh!
Hey, it's me, Danny from Protagonist. Did you see that transition? That was fucking wild. It's like I'm a podcaster.
Whoa,
Anyway,
weird.
anyway, Danny is a session pilsner from Protagonist. Saying out loud, I don't think I've ever said the phrase session pilsner before. I've never seen it written on anything.
I've never seen that either. Now that you mention it,
it is because it's 4.1%, so it's exceptionally low.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! That's it. Protagonist is from Charlotte in North Carolina as well.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you got?
Oh yeah, me. I have the blonde that you had earlier from Cahaba, and I'll just go ahead and say it's good because I drank one earlier. Yeah, it's good beer. All around blonde. They don't have anything added, nothing special. It's just a good beer.
Nice. Yeah. First sip. My beer is pretty good. It tastes like a pilsner. Wow, that is
it is
recorded
like a
for everyone to say. I know that's not the worst thing I've said grammatically on
there will
any podcast.
Be a fucking shit. I can't think of the words. Oh my god. Not collage. It's like a movie collage. Fuck.
Compilation?
Oh, there will be a compilation.
You're just like restarted.
Yes.
No, you can't. You can't. Buffa-booey. You can't do it. A movie collage. I mean, that is all a compilation is. So
it is.
You're almost like extra smart for knowing what 2 things are.
No, I just have ADHD.
Oh, I like how you put a weird emphasis on the H, ADHD.
I don't know what HD is, but my doctor says I got 80 of them bitches.
I realized the other day, I think I have that as well.
You do have that, yeah, for sure.
I don't know why it took me so long in my life to realize that, but I think it was probably the 50th time my wife told me to stop fidgeting. That I realized, oh man, maybe this is because of something.
Oh, there's an invisible force making me do this.
Yeah. Do you got any check-ins for your bureau?
No.
You already did it. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Hey, it's Xavier. I'm the other co-host of this podcast. Just walking in. I apparently only have one untapped review for this Danny beer. It is from Paris W. Checked in at Brawley's Beverage, which is a pretty neat place. In Charlotte.
Neat.
4 out of 5 stars. She just says, good doggo, good beer. And Jack,
yeah.
I believe I texted you an image of this dog.
You did.
This dog does look good, but it also looks like it's very upset to be dragged outside to go drink once more with its owner, and it just wants to go home. And she's cheersing the dog, which is something I do at my house all the time.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, let me know down in the comments below on youtube.com if this is not the case.
YouTube.com? Can I find that on the World Wide Web?
Yeah, www.youtube.com/ampersand magic on tap.
Whoa, Black Betty, ampersand.
See, no, we definitely both have ADHD. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a thing that we all do, right?
What?
Cheers your dog.
Oh, yeah. That has to be a thing, right? It can't just be us. There's no way it's just us. I know your lady definitely cheerses the dog.
Why wouldn't you?
They are people in your house. It'd be rude as fuck not to.
Yeah.
I wave at people's dogs at the brewery I work at, and they look at me like, "Oh, do I know you?" And I just say, "I wasn't waving at you. I was waving at your dog." And then I just keep walking like I didn't have that interaction. I just wanted to say hi. I waved at a dog the other day that tried to attack me.
After or before?
After. Well, before I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, if you are walking by a dog and its whole body stiffens and it stares at your face and it looks like it wants nothing to do with you, chances are, if you're within the vicinity of its leash, it will be getting more acquainted with your human body.
Its teeth will get acquainted.
Yeah, so I stayed out of range of its leash, and it did the thing I knew it was going to do, but I had to walk by it. And I just said, hush, and then I waved at it, and then his owner just looked very confused. And he apologized, and I was like, I knew that shit was going to happen, and then I just kept walking away. I mean, dogs are going to dog at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just they need to get to know you.
Yeah, sometimes they get to know you, sometimes you just got to show the owner that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't stress your dog out and put them in these situations. And
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, it lunged at me. It could have been someone else that didn't know it was going to happen. Maybe you'll rethink that next time you bring your dog out.
They won't.
No,
anyway.
They won't until it like. Anyway, that's it. Yes.
So your review from Paris, or is that?
I read it. The dog, good.
Yeah.
Good doggo, good beer. So anyway, hey Jack.
No.
What you brewing?
Oh shit! Come a little closer with that. So as we mentioned, we kind of foreshadowed earlier. We both are brewing some Pauper EDH decks, and I have Disciplined Duelist as my commander. So to clarify, in Pauper, your commander can be any uncommon creature. It does not have to be legendary, which opens up a lot of different avenues for deck building, and it makes for a lot of interesting choices that you can make. It's pretty cool.
Super fun. I think it's super, super exciting.
Yeah. So Disciplined Duelist is a green, a white, and a blue for a 2/1 with double strike. And it enters with a shield counter. So, I built a Voltron deck. This is just using stuff that I already had, so it's not at all like optimized, but you know, I've got the normal. I have Rancor in there, which is an uncommon in the printing that I have, but because it has been printed as a common, it can be used in Pauper. So that's the rule. If it's been printed as a common ever before, you can use it. Unless it's Mystic Remora or that other one. Do you pay the one?
Rhystic Study.
Rhystic Study. Wow, Jesus, I can't believe I forgot the name of that.
Yeah. The super, really fucking good commander staple blue enchantments.
Yeah. Yes. So I've got some control in here too, because I don't have a ton of good Voltron cards, so I wanted to be able to protect my commander. So I've got like the obvious counter spell, you know, but some other counters in there too. Also got like Tamiyo's safekeepings to give it hexproof if I need to, stuff like that, and then other stuff to give it +1/+1 counters, like Timberland Guide and stuff like that.
Timberland Guide? Oh, Timberland.
Guide.
I was like, Timbaland?
Not
like
Timbaland.
the famous music producer?
Timberland Guide is a pretty classic card, but just in case, it's a green and a 1 for a 1/1, and it says when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So obviously, I would want to target my commander with that. And yeah, I think the double strike that enters with a shield counter is just like the perfect commander for a Pauper Voltron deck. I mean, there are probably some that are better, but I was looking through my multicolored uncommons, and that one really stood out to me. Oh wow, we're still in the What You Brewing, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
any highlights out of your... No. Shut the fuck up. Any highlights out of your deck that you're really excited about to include?
I think I named them. Well, actually no, there are a couple that I want to mention.
Yeah.
Coiling Oracle, which I always call Coracle. It's a blue and a green for a 1/1, and when it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, you put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So, at worst, it's a cantrip. It's pretty good.
It's really fucking good. That card is in my skip turn deck because you put a land onto the battlefield.
Yes.
So, you can do that anytime.
Yeah.
So, you have a way to give that shit flash? You just, whatever. You draw a card, or you fucking put a land on the battlefield. Yeah. I was looking at your deck list, and I will say there is a common in there that I was very excited to see. It's an enchantment. Shielding Plaques.
Yes.
2 for a blue or a green. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Sounds pretty good. And then enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. So it gives it hexproof. 3 to give something hexproof and draw a card. Sounds pretty good. And it's indefinitely until they deal with the enchantment. So
yeah, that card is great. That's a common. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a common. That's a common. It's a really good card. I would say, besides the ones that I've mentioned before, the last one, Kazali Pride Mage is really good. It's a green and a white for a 2/2, which, I mean, 2 for a 2/2 is already good. Cat Wizard, which is just funny to me. Exalted, so whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, which is pretty good in Voltron. But oh wait, he has another ability. You can pay 1, sacrifice him, and destroy target artifact or enchantment. So he's just got a lot of utility. He's a good fucking common.
Very good. I think he was... I don't know if he was always a common, because I've had him since his original printing, and I can't remember if he was a common or uncommon, but Exalted is so fun, and it's surprising how many commons have Exalted.
Yeah, Exalted is an interesting mechanic. You don't see people play it a lot, but it can be really fucking good.
Yeah, and weird, if you're playing Voltron, I guess that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I guess fucking buffing up your Voltron creature is good, huh?
Yeah.
He's always been common. I mean, he's got vanity rarities, like in Time Spiral Remastered, he had the special one, which is purple. But
oh yeah,
he's always been a common.
Damn, that's fun. Commons make the world go round.
It's true, they do. I mean, if you didn't have the commons in a pack, then you would have no frame of reference for the mythics.
It's true. Also, you could spend thousands of dollars on a deck, and if it's blue, you're probably still going to run Opt in it, because Opt is always going to be fucking good.
Yeah, that's a good card.
Yeah.
Counterspell. That's a common.
Counterspell is a fucking common.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And it's Counterspell is one of the funniest commons because that immediately makes you feel like an asshole. Like you could go to play a card that you've spent, I don't know, too much money, especially for cardboard. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, and what it hits that 20 range, you're like, oh God, Jesus, I'm really spending $20 on a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
You're gonna go pay your $20 cardboard, and some dude just has 2 islands hanging out, and he's like, I don't know, counter that shit. Oh my God! Always feels bad.
Fuck.
Always feels bad.
Yeah.
And it's never like not funny. It's never not funny when you're the one doing it. It's always a nightmare when it happens to you.
I mean, getting your shit countered sucks anytime, but especially if it's like a big spell that might win you the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And counterspell sucks too because it only costs 2. When I see a blue deck with like 5 mana open, I'm not playing my big fat win the game spell.
No.
Because I just assume something's gonna happen. But 2, I'm like, okay. I kind of forget about it, you know what I mean? And then it's like counterspell. Oh, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Shit. Yeah. Yep. Well, that's all I've got for that.
Yeah.
So, hey Xavier. What you brewing?
What am I brewing for my PEDH? And part of the reason I think I like this format is because there's even more letters in this acronym. I'm brewing a Thermo Alchemist deck. Oh, God. So excited. Thermo Alchemist, if you don't know, now you know, is a colorless and a mountain for a 0/3 defender. It's a human shaman. You tap Thermo Alchemist, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, untap Thermo Alchemist. Oh, I heard that card's pretty good.
That card is good if you just draw it in the 99.
Yeah, that card is good in any spell slinger deck ever.
Yeah.
Literally. It's just a good card. It's so funny because, especially me, I lean, like we both lean towards super casual Commander.
Yeah.
With Pauper EDH, I have never felt so competitive in my whole fucking life. I don't know why. It's like suddenly I want to make the best deck possible. And I think it's part of it is just to like show off how good commons can really be. But yeah, so this is mono red. It's like burn, baby, burn. Mm-hmm. I have 30 instants and sorceries in here. It's just rife with card draw. It's it's mean. It's mean. The only thing I'm missing is Monastery Swiftspear because I don't own it. Because once again, these are just cards that I own.
I have one for you.
Oh, I would love a Monastery Swiftspear because that card is fucking dumb. I'm not going to tell you what it does. You'll just have to look it up. Or if you're very, very lucky and you're nice to Jack, he might throw it up in our YouTube video. I'm going to pause for the moment where you throw it up in the YouTube video.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up and you can all watch it and then... it's over.
But I will say there are some cards I'm very excited about that are in here. I think the fact that Goblin Matron got printed as a common where it used to be uncommon for the longest time is wild to me. Because it is... It doesn't seem that crazy, but then you happen to, I don't know, have the one goblin in your deck that you need to make your whole deck work, and then you have a tutor to go find it. So, Goblin Matron, if you haven't seen it, it's 2 colorless and a red for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a Goblin card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. If you're playing Rakdos, if you're playing Boros, if you're playing Mono Red, this card is probably going to come in handy because I guarantee there's probably a fucking Goblin you really, really want to be in your hand. Outside of that, I think the best thing I have in here, because there's a whole bunch of burn spells, a whole bunch of really cheap 1 or 2 drop instant sorceries that do yada yada damage to someone. I have a 6 drop card. It is 4 colorless, 2 red pips for a 4/4. It is Coal Hauler Swine, so it is a beast. When Coal Hauler Swine is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to each player. It just makes everything that Thermal Alchemist is trying to do be better. Because now, you don't necessarily even have to target some of these creatures. If they have a big, sturdy creature that's not going to get bolted to death, it's not going to get shocked to death, you're going to say Coal Hauler Swine, and instead it will reflect that damage on everyone else, and then you get to untap Thermal Alchemist.
To everyone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know. I like this deck because it does it to all my opponents. It's like, how do I infinite kill someone but longer? How do I bang bang boom, I won the game, but I actually have to like do the work to do it? It's this card. So very excited for this.
That's I'm not excited for it. That's going to be a fucking nightmare. And I'm playing a Voltron deck. It's going to be kind of slow, but I will be targeting you first.
Yeah, right. So this is the little brother deck that I was talking about.
Yeah.
There's a reason I have a weird insight to this, because if this doesn't do what I want it to do fast enough, I'm going to be so vulnerable, it's crazy. Yeah. I'm going to have to do that like younger sibling shit where you lay on your back and you just wait for someone to get close and you just start kicking your legs as hard as you can and hope they don't grab you. It is worth mentioning that Arcane Signet and Command Sphere are both commons. And since this is technically EDH, I do have a commander. It makes sense that they're commons because they're only good in certain formats, but still going to want them in monocolored PEDH decks.
Yeah, I mean, I have Commander Sphere too. I don't have Arcane Signet in mine, although that would be very good. I think I'd just... Do I not have a copy of that? Surely I have a copy of that. I'll have to find it.
Yeah. Soul Ring, not. I even looked it up. Yeah. Unless, I think... I don't know if the original printing counts.
Well, they had rarities, but I don't know what the rarity was. Let's see. It was uncommon. Damn. So, yeah, it looks like it's never been a common. Which is good. Nope. It shouldn't be a common. That would be ridiculous.
It would be dumb. Dumb as fuck. But it does make Mind Stone or the 2-drop enters tapped monocolored mana rocks seem better. Especially Mind Stone, that has way more utility now in a monocolored PEDH deck.
Yeah, sure does.
Well, that's
Can
all
I just say also?
Yeah.
Dominaria Remastered has a lot of good commons that were previously printed at uncommon.
Oh my god, yeah, I know. We talked about it a little bit, but I think... Oh shit, I'm misspeaking. This was Double Masters. But yes, lots of very, very good cards that were uncommon that were reprinted at common. It's like kind of spooky. Power creep is real.
Yeah, well, they go back and forth. I mean, Lightning Bolt has always kind of gone back and forth between common and uncommon, but you mentioned Goblin Matron. That was an uncommon, and it was printed at commonness.
Yep.
Which, good for you. Yeah, they're a few at least. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say about that?
Nope. No. I'm excited to see how it works. I'll be very interested to see how it works in a true EDH setting with 3 opponents.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried, but excited to see how my deck works.
It'll be fun. I think it'll be a great experience. And if you play EDH, just from the deck building standpoint alone, I would recommend trying to convince your play group into playing this because it seems very, very fun.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun building mine, so for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, do we want to move on to the sideboard then?
Oh, yeah. What you got for your sideboard, Jack? And let the viewers know, or I guess listeners, or both, because we do have viewers.
We have viewers, yeah.
What the sideboard is and what your sideboard is, because I guarantee I already know what it is.
You do already know what it is. So the sideboard is where we talk about things that are not related to Magic or are related to Magic. It's our podcast. We can talk about whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. This past weekend I went to SCG Con, which is Star City Games Con. It was in Charlotte this weekend, and it was a good time. It's the first time I've ever been to a con that is completely like card game focused. Not just Magic. They had like Flesh and Blood and Soulforge Fusion there. But a lot of vendors. I spent probably too much money, and I didn't get the entry to the command zone because I didn't really know what to expect there. But having gone, I will say I'll definitely in the future get entry to the command zone because I just kind of was wandering around not knowing what to do, and that definitely would have given me the thing to do, you know. But yeah, it was a good time. I met the professor, which is cool.
Ooh, the prof.
The prof.
Tolarian Community College, if you're not familiar. Very good info, great gameplay.
Yeah, and if you are listening to us, you are familiar. There's fucking literally no possible way you would hear of us before him.
Yeah, like we suck pretty hard in comparison.
We suck. Yeah, and so basically, I invited him out to Town Brewing, which is in Charlotte. If you are local, it's a great brewery, great beer, good food, and he was like, yeah, I'll show up. So I gave him my card. He texted me later that day and said, I'm playing a Pauper event, but I would love to come after that. Can I invite some friends? And obviously I said yes. And so he came by with Mana Curves, also super cool. They're mostly a streamer. They do a lot of deck building stuff with Commander and do a podcast like us. Theirs is probably better.
I haven't heard it, but I guarantee it is.
Yeah, no. I guarantee it's better. So Chase Carroll, Mana Curves, super cool person, showed up with the professor, and we just hung out, drank some beer, and had a good time. It was super cool.
Yeah.
The prof is a cool guy. And he also made some posts on Twitter about how great town was and how great the beer was. So yeah, he's a super nice guy, and I didn't ask him. I maybe asked him like one or two questions about like content creation and stuff. I didn't want to like make the whole thing about that, but he was more than happy to answer those. So yeah, he's great.
Yeah. I will say I caught some of that night, and
Yeah.
he just seemed like a really genuine person, and Chase was great as well. Just like, I don't know. It just really reinforces how Magic is the gathering, you know what I mean? So even people that are prominent within the community at their base still seem just like, I don't know. They're just people trying to like have fun.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone is here. Like, I mean, and actually that night, Prof said, we're all nerds here. We're all here for the same reason. We all love the game, and it's I think you're right. A lot of people aren't going to get into the content creation space if they don't love the game, and part of loving the game is the people and the gathering part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've taught a lot of people how to play Magic. I can tell right away the people that are going to stick with it is when people are into showing up to play in person, and when they get sold on deck building. Those are the people that are going to play Magic for the rest of their their lives. And yeah, I don't know. Even if you look at Prof's bio on his Instagram, he says, "I reviewed cardboard and cardboard accessories," and and this is a dude that, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we all know what it is, really, but
yeah,
it's important to us, at least. It's just like the fun thing that we do. Some people have intramural sports or whatever, beer league, softball. We have a very expensive hobby that involves cardboard.
Yeah, and everybody, it's really interesting talking to people about it too, because everybody has a very similar shared experience, and you connect over those things when you're talking about it, and it's really, you make some lifelong friendships through it too.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to develop those relationships as well, because when you get into it, sometimes you feel like you're a weirdo outside of your play group, and then it's so interesting to meet people that aren't in your play group that have the same mentality. Yeah. So it like builds this whole community automatically.
I mean, when we were leaving that night, he was Prof. What?
Brian.
We're on a first name basis.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian.
I shook his hand. He said his name was Brian. He didn't say Professor.
Yeah. So when he was getting into the Uber with Chase, and Chase had invited a friend who was a judge who was competing that day or that weekend, a guy came out of the bar. There was it was like a watch party for a soccer game. A guy came out wearing a soccer jersey and like a backwards cap and was like, "You're the man, Prof." And like, not at all the kind of person that you would expect to play Magic or hear that from, and that was really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
That's my sideboard. I spent the night drinking with the Prof, and he's a super cool guy. Go subscribe to Tolarian Community College if by some fucking mistake you heard about us first.
Yeah, actually unsubscribe to us and then subscribe to him, and then if you still like us after, you can subscribe again.
Yeah, and subscribe to Chase Carroll on on YouTube. That's CHASE, Chase, CARROLL. I should have mentioned that first. And Mana Curves on Twitch.
Yes.
Yeah, super cool people.
Their IG is Mana Curves as well.
Yes.
I think it's Mana Curves 1.
or Mana Curves 1. If you search for Mana Curves MTG, you'll find them.
Yeah, there's no chance that it'll be anyone else. So yeah.
Sick. Both those people are super cool. Love them both. That's just great. Yeah, that's my sideboard. What do you have?
Honestly, nothing. That's it.
Sick.
I just it was cool to be a part of that. So
yeah, we don't get a lot of Magic cons or like card game cons in Charlotte, and it was really cool to see all the people that came out to SCG Con. Sheldon Minery was here, and a few super cool artists. RK Post, who is like one of my favorite Magic artists. He's super cool. He's a great guy. I bought like a metal shrine token from him that I got signed. So I hope to see more of that in the future. But yeah, it was a great time.
It sounds dope. For listener Rosemary.
Yeah?
Oh fuck, I've already said that. For listener Lavender, which is a name I'm deciding is a name. For listener Lavender, sure. Jack knows way more about Magic in general than I do. So it's always very cool for me still. Like, I've been playing this game for a long time. I don't know anything about the community. I don't know who any people are. It's always cool to learn people to learn about people within the community, learn what that looks like. Like, I'm learning stuff all the time. And then I think that's something about Magic that's super cool, is because we've been playing this game for forever, and I've learned new shit about this all the time.
Yeah, I do too. That's like part of what makes it great, for sure, like you said. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I do have a sideboard. My sideboard is that I've had 3 of these Kolsch's now total, and they're still very good.
God.
So I'm like halfway through my sixth beer.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
And on that note, thanks for listening / watching.
Yeah, if you don't follow us already, follow us on YouTube at whatever Jack says our name is.
It's on everything. Instagram, we're Magic on Tap. Untapped, we're Magic on Tap. We make reviews on Untapped. We just give everything 5 stars and then write it as if it were a Magic card. Magic on Tap on YouTube, Magic on Tap MTG on Twitter.
Because we're on Twitter now. I guess that's where Magic people go to talk to each other.
There's a lot of Magic on Twitter. So,
all right. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for listening, and